Hi, welcome to the Author's Journey. I'm Cheryl Andrews, one of the co-founders of the group. I haven't been here for a while, so I thought I'd pop in and talk to you because we're just coming towards the end of the Summer Writing Challenge with Libra TAS, and we've been taking the authors through that journey of getting clarity of what they're writing, why they're writing it, who they're writing it to, getting confidence in the way that they write. You know, do they write in big chunks of time or is it little bits every day? And actually helping them to recognise the change that's happening in their process, as in they are improving, that they are getting closer towards that book becoming a reality, but also the change that they make by expressing what they know and telling their story, so that they have that underlying confidence to get out there and turn their books into reality. And one of the questions that keeps coming is, when is the right time to write and publish your book? And I just want to talk about, for me, and I can only talk from my experience, but I also observe this in other people, is that for many people, they talk about writing a book, but eventually what happens is you get this deep feeling inside. Hi Reddy, lovely to meet you. Get a deep feeling inside where it's like that thought about the book won't go away, and sometimes you don't know why it's so important for you to write it, but there's just this deep sense, this deep knowing that the book is the right thing that you need to do, and it won't go away. But the best thing I can do is like, if you decide you really want to have children, once you're pregnant, there's no going back. So it doesn't matter how scared you get or how nervous you get, you're going to have to deal with the fact that a baby's on its way and you're going to have that responsibility. And so I believe the time's right when you sometimes get forced into it. Somebody else says you got to write the book by a deadline. Sometimes the time's right because you absolutely plan it, it organically happens. But anyone that's been in the arena of children, you'll know that things don't go to plan. They don't always happen when they want to happen, but that desire for them to happen just will not go away, and you know that that book has got to become a reality. So if this is you, I want to tell you about an opportunity, because Karen and I have just had such a whale of a time in the Summer Writing Challenge. We normally only run this once a year for a month, where we really focus on what does it take in order to focus and get 10,000 words in a month written. And so the group have been sharing experiences, getting feedback and building on their confidence. And as we come to the end, some have done the 10,000, some have done more, some have done less, but what they have learned is what it takes to do that. Because the truth is, when's the right time is simply a decision. Like all things, it's got to become important enough to you so that you make the time. This week I've been up about 4:30 most days because I really want to write and I want to get my full day's worth of work done. So my book is priority again now, and so I'm putting that time and effort into it. So I haven't got time, but I've created time. So when it's the right time comes down to, you know, when it's no longer an option for it not to be written. When you've decided that this book has to be written, you know that even if you're writing it just for your own selfish reasons, because you need to see and hear and feel your knowledge and wisdom in front of you, you have it tangibly, that actually your journey has been worth something, that your lessons that you have learned have got value to you, if nobody else. That might be one reason. But if you combine it then, if you have the courage to share a bit of your wisdom with somebody else and they go, oh my gosh, that's really inspired me. Think of all the books you've read and all the stories you've heard and how those little tiny seeds have made a difference in your life. When you start to realize that your book could make a difference to your family, that your book could make a difference to your community, could make a difference to your country, on even the globe, that once that book's written and your wisdom and your story is out there, it could make massive change for many, many people. When you've got that burning inside of you, there's nothing that can stop you except for fear or patterns of behavior that you've got from before. And that's the lovely thing. When you decide you have to get that book written, you have to start communicating differently with people. You have to start setting boundaries. You have to say no to things. And you have to get real clarity of what it is you want to say and how you want to say it. So we've got... Nye, you've got a question. Do you self-publish or go with an agency? I love my accent, thank you. I'll answer that question. It really does depend. One of the things we talk about on the mastermind call and the group calls is about the different options. So you've got self-publishing, where you get it all printed, edited yourself, and you end up with a copy of the book and you get your ISBN number on it. So there's a way to self-publish where you get it printed. and you can get it self-published professionally. And I highly recommend you go down the self-published professionally if you're going down the self-published route. But you get you can retain complete control and 100% of royalties. You can do a traditional publishing where somebody else gives you a deal. They will often want to edit and adapt the story and make it so it's got PRable. So you lose a lot of the control over what the book turns out looking like. That's one of the disadvantages of it. But they often will give you a fee up front, but you'll get less royalties as they come out. And it's called hybrid publishing, which is what Libra TAS does, where it's a blend between the two, where you self-publish, but you've got support and you've got somebody helping you through the systems. You're helping with editing, the design, etc. So you can do it all your own, or you can do traditional publishing, and it really just depends what you want to get out of it. A lot of the people that we work with, it's their personal stories, their personal journey, and it's their time to have their voice. It's their time to have their story heard in their own unique way, and they don't want somebody else pulling it apart. They have an editor to help them make sure it's saying what they mean it to say, and they have an editor to make sure it's grammatically correct, but they're not going to have somebody who's going to develop it into something else in order to change the story just to please a particular market. And there's other people that really do want it just to be done from PRable, and they might go more for the traditional publishing houses. The mistake that most people make, though, they think publishing house is going to do loads of marketing for you, and because they're a big house, they're going to get you loads of sales. They don't. They have lots of books to sell. So it doesn't matter which route you go down, it'll always come down to you as the author in order to actually create the sales for yourself. Now, my accent's not so good now, no. It's I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I've gone all croaky. I'm just going to check there's no other questions. So going back to the time that's right, I just want you to think about when would it be too late? One of the things that often can drive us is if we think about what happens if this book dies inside you. That was a big motivator for me. I was very poorly 4 years ago, and I thought I had cancer. And I was having all sorts of tests done, and that's when I suddenly realised that, oh my gosh, this book's going to die in me. I can't have that. And so it kick-started it, made me push through, no matter what the barriers were, that book had to become a reality. So we can often do the positive stuff, like thinking about when would we like it to be done, what this is, but actually what happens if you don't write it? What happens if you don't get it done? So have a think about that. And if you knew you only had 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get the book written, what would be the most important thing for you to write? And maybe what that will do is then condense down, maybe you've got more than one book, but it'll get the first book actually out of your head and get written. So hopefully that's been of use today. It's just a quick call to jump on with you, talk about the time being right, and just to say to you, if that book is inside you, and absolutely 2018 is the year to turn your book writing dreams into reality, and you know that you have got to do it this year. There's no more dilly-dallying, there's no more putting it off. You'd hate to be sat here in September 2019 with your book still not written, but you know that you want to get this done, and between now and Christmas is a good opportunity for you to really knuckle down and start to map it out, really think about it, plan it, structure it, and get it written. Then I'm going to put a link below to tell you all about the up-and-coming mastermind, which we are launching on Monday. It's a pilot. We're just going to hit the road running. Karen and I just know that there's people out there where this is the right time. This is when you need to make things a reality, and you don't want to put it off. We've got people in the writing challenge that are really motivated, and the momentum's going. We want to help them keep going, and so we're doing a really special offer because we're pulling it all together. We're going to be listening to what you want, and we'll be delivering it as you ask us for it. So over the next 90 days, if you want to make your book a reality, and you know that doing it on your own isn't working, then please check out the link that will be in the comments shortly. If you've got any other questions, let me know before I log off. I'm just going to check the you've got, what's the name of the other publishing? I didn't hear the word. Oh, ours is called Libra TAS. So LI, I can put a link to that later. Memoirs should not be sold right. It should be published so they can collect 75% of royalties. Oh wow, I'm sorry to hear. Hope everything is better. I don't know what that's in relation to now. In terms of real royalties, it will depend on the company. It depends what contract you've got. Every contract's different. You just have to work out whether or not it's the right contract for you, what you want to get from it. So it's entirely up to you when it comes to those contracts with you. No, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. If there's any other questions, let me know. I want to get my book done by the end of this year, but I'm not sure if it's possible. I need a development editor and need to know if I'm self-published or get an agency to publish my book. I don't know how to self-publish. All the kind of questions, Nyla, that we will cover in the author's journey mastermind group. We'll talk about all the options you've got. In terms of getting your first manuscript written and helping develop it, we can certainly be motivating you, cheerleading. It would be extra hours if someone was being paid to actually develop it with you, but certainly can help you start to think about how you refine it and how you put the message out there. I'm not sure if it's possible. If you go to a publishing house, the likelihood is you'd need about an 18-month lead time. So if you want it published this year, it probably wouldn't be with a publishing house because they have long lead times. You could publish it yourself and still put it out in order to get it to publishing houses later. There's no reason you can't do one after the other. But if you want a publishing house to do it, you'd need to be really sending them the first couple of chapters, giving them a synopsis of what you want the book about, and then seeing if you get their interest. And then they would be giving you dates sort of a year to 18 months in advance before publishing. And make sure you've got it in your contract the date that you're going to publish, because obviously they might not keep to that. Hopefully that's useful to you for today. I'll send you the link. Now, if you want to chat, let us know and we'll see whether there's anything we can do through the courses. Lots of love. Get out there, write your books, tell your stories, because you matter, and the world is waiting for you to have a voice. Speak to you soon.